let's start off with... We'll do a classic. Let's start off today's tinfoil stream with our good friend, Chris. Chris, of course, known colloquially on his channel as CC, Chris from New York here, or whatever place he's from. Westchester County. Chris has another video, and he's still complaining about flat earth and basic health guidelines and all the things he normally does when he's an old man ranting at clouds. So let's go ahead and take a look at his most recent video, and he has another one as well. We might take a look at that.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County. It's 2/27/22. Sorry I missed that historic day, 2222. Interesting numbers. Anyway.
I turned it up. Is it any better?
When you get a chance today, I'd like you to visit the live cams that are out there in Kiev.
I can turn it up a little bit more if you need it. Let me do... I'll turn it up a little bit more.
And I want you to take a look at them. And you tell me, where are the bombs? Oh,
Chris, there is literally footage of stuff exploding in Ukraine. Let me guess, Chris is a Ukraine, like, Russia invasion denier? Oh god, Chris, my god. Oh no, that's a new one. Okay, Chris, no, I've literally seen video of large bombs going off in Ukraine. I've seen the aftermath of that. I've seen the corpses. Stop it, you disrespectful old piece of crap. Literally take 5 seconds to Google it if you really want to see dead bodies. I don't suggest it. It's haunting. Dead bodies are scary. Rachology says, Chris, aka CC, aka the What Happened Next to Jack from Jack and Diane classic rock song.
Keep it down to a minimum. Come on, this isn't sandbox time. This is serious times now.
I don't know if I'd say implies wife hates him yet.
I'm talking to you. So...
You know, the whispers, though, okay. We'll say Chris infers his wife hates him based on the whispers.
Well, I'm sorry. Did you wake up? No, we want you to sleep. Go back to sleep. Don't wake up. Don't think any of this is fake or anything like that. No, we need you to sleep. We need you.
Chris, innocent people are dying, you fuck. Again, this is bad taste even for him, and that's saying a lot, to be honest, because he's an anti-vaxxer already, an anti-vaxxer with a job in the medical industry where he comes in contact with patients. This is in bad taste even by those standards.
To rah the Mars mission and the Moon mission. We need you to buy things. We need you to be trained like the trained rat that you are. Sorry. That's what we need. We need people like this, so don't wake up. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Come on, trust me.
Chris is the kind of person that thinks contrarianism in and of itself is intellectual. Chris, sometimes going against the grain if the general public is in favor of something or believes something that happens to not be true, sometimes following the evidence against that and despite what people believe can be intellectual because you are looking at the evidence itself and actually seeing that it bears out something different than the general consensus. You are not doing that. You are assuming because you are smarter than other people, which you're not smarter than other people. You're at the lower end of the bell curve, if I'm being honest, on the left side. You've decided that because most people understand the reality of what's going on in Ukraine, that it must not be true, because if you believed them on that, then you'd have to believe them on the shape of the Earth, and vaccines, and all sorts of other normal everyday things. So instead of actually looking at evidence and deciding what or is not true about the world you have going on around you, you've decided, well, the general public believes this. Well, the opposite must be true. I swear, we're like a week away from Chris saying, the sky can't be blue. The general public believes the sky is blue. The sky is green. The sky cannot be blue. Everyone believes the sky is blue, and I'm a big brain, and I can't believe the same things as these small brains.
It's better that way. Trust me.
Are there people out there who don't believe World War I and World War II happened? Hans Wormhat. Hans Wormhat, who we've covered before, doesn't think World War II happened. He also doesn't think the transatlantic slave trade happened, so... Devious Shilster says, I seriously wonder, in these guys' tiny Teflon brains, does anything bad ever actually happen? How the hell in the entire world hiding the fact that this is fake, but they're the ones who somehow sussed it out? But somehow a gigantic race of otherworldly lizard people or some crap is taking over the world, and this group of people can't stop them despite finding out all their secrets. What? It doesn't make sense. Again, it's not about making sense, it's about them feeling special. They feel the need to put themselves above others because of some insecurity. It's really weird. It's a horrifying psychological defense mechanism that destroys people's lives. iMiracle says, did you see But I'm a Cheerleader musical is being made? I didn't. I love that movie, so that'll probably be good. And Muddy says, hello, Hannah. Your boy got a root canal, so thank you for existing so I don't have to focus on the pain. Oof, hope you got some good meds.
Go back to bed. Curl up to your pet rock, or whatever it may be. Enjoy yourself.
Chris, pet rocks haven't been a thing since, I think, the 70s. You'd probably find them online or in some novelty shops, but that was a fad in the 70s. Like 50 years ago.
Continue watching turtles and cats chasing dogs on YouTube. Because we need you to do that. Okay, so don't wake up. Don't become smart and intelligent. Don't become one of the smartest people in the world. When you figured out that we're standing still, that we're not moving.
We are moving, Chris, relative to basically everything else in space. Motion is relative. We are moving relative to the sun, yes. Hama, the RC, no. God, it's like vanity license plates. I can never do these. Hamither Sig. Thanks for 2 months. Let me know how to pronounce that.
That everything's stationary, that space is fake? Ah, that's right, it is. All those planets you see up there, this is nothing but an amazing light show.
Holographic sun, moon.
That's all it is. When you go to the Hidden Planetarium...
On the bingo card, obviously.
What do you see? Planets, stars. Can you land on them? No, you can't.
Chris, that is literally a projection. I guess I don't know how the Hayden Planetarium one works. I think usually they're like projections on the ceiling or whatever. I've been to planetariums before. There's a planetarium in Michigan that I'm sure there's multiple, but I went to one in middle school or high school, I don't remember, as a field trip. They're cool, they're fun, but they never pretend to be anything other than that, Chris. The space, like the Google. Space is real, Chris. People have been there. It's a real place. We're in space right now. We just happen to be on a planet in space with an atmosphere. It's nice.
That's exactly what's up there. When people ask, where's that thing? I had some props here. Sorry about that, but I don't think I can say that, so we'll just avoid that comment that I was about to say. Just talk about. Maybe I'll get into it at the end. Let's see.
Say it, bitch. Powered by ZPM says, hey Hannah, I've been watching you and Jake's YouTube videos for years and finally decided to cave and get Twitch so I could watch you live. Happy to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome.
So people ask, where's your channel going? Where's it going? Where it always been. Flat Earth. When are you going to close your channel? Never. The day that I close my channel is the day that they take the Hubble telescope and they turn it around, zoom in live on a town, my town, so I can sit there and go like this.
He's so proud of himself! Chris, why would they do that? What? Why would they need to do that? The Hubble telescope was designed for seeing things in deep space. I don't even know if it sees the visible spectrum. Like, I don't know what spectrum the Hubble actually sees. It's taking in light, but it might not be visible light. I don't know how it works. The point I'm trying to make is, Chris, if they pointed it towards the Earth, they wouldn't see it like a normal camera, most likely. And there's no reason to do that because the vast majority of the people on the planet aren't conspiracy theorists who don't understand the Earth is round.
Or put a camera on top of a rocket.
They're literally... What? Hold on. Rocket, takeoff, camera, on rocket. This exists, Chris. This is literally already a thing that exists. What are you talking about? They put cameras on rockets. What? You can see it go to space, Chris, in real time. What are you talking about? Look, here's another one. This is like a common thing. What? Chris, what are you doing?
While it's lifting off, let me see you break the barrier into space. And then put a rear camera on there. So,
Chris, there isn't like a direct delineation that's a hard line between Earth's atmosphere and space. It's a gradient. There isn't like a line where you pass it like a curtain and all of a sudden you're in space. You just get further and further away from the Earth and the atmosphere gets thinner and thinner and thinner. You don't even know how it works.
We can see Earth slowly disappearing. But they'll never do
They've literally done that, Chris. They have literally done that.
that.
No, Chris has great hair. I agree. If his sense of reason was even half as good as his hair, he probably wouldn't be a flat earther. Sky Comet Fallen says he still wouldn't believe it even if we sent him to space. Probably. Avenue 7 has a interesting scene like that.
What about the things that are on Mars? Well, let me ask about the those little mechanical items that are on Mars. What kind of camera are on those?
Probably custom ones built by NASA. Sky Comet... Oh, no. Will, I am not okay, says, is he talking so quietly because he doesn't want his wife to hear his BS? Probably. Hydrate. Let's see. Mars rover camera. Mars rover camera. The cameras on the Mars 2020 Perseverance rover, Mastercam Z, Navcam Supercam Remote Micro Imager, Mastercam Z, or sorry, rather, Mastcam Z, Navcam rear cameras. There's a bunch of cameras, basically. I'm assuming these are custom built by NASA's engineering, because I can't imagine there's a single company on Earth that makes cameras suitable for going on Mars. No, I wouldn't say this is an understand how cameras work. Although I think he says a thing in a second that is not how cameras work. Astro Fox says, Hubble's visible spectrum and visible satellites were actually used as spy satellites a couple decades ago. A similar spare spy sat that the DoD gave to NASA is actually going to launch soon. That said, Hubble is way too busy doing science and booked solid, and they aren't going to waste time looking at the Earth when they could be doing important science on an aging telescope. Cool. I'm very excited about the James Webb telescope that went up back in December. I think they're still calibrating it. But everything's gone well so far, so that's nice. But yeah, you can find technical specs. They're custom cameras that NASA had built.
It should be equipped with the highest type of technology that you could possibly ever imagine, correct?
Sure.
Better than the technology that I have?
Correct. Oh yeah, here he says the stupid thing. This is gonna be doesn't understand how cameras work. Spare Keys says, as someone who is studying and going to college to be a historian and evolutionary biologist, I absolutely hate guys like this who deny historical fact and reality. Not just for their ridiculous conspiracies, but also because many of them also tend to harass and target many in historical and biological fields of work. Glad you're highlighting people like this and their bullshit. Well, thank you.
this.
I hope seeing it in this form makes it more entertaining than frustrating, although I'm sure there's plenty of frustration to be had.
There should be a camera on all those little rovers that are on Mars. And why can't we take that camera and zoom in on Earth?
Doesn't understand how cameras work. He thinks his P900 DSLR camera is better than the cameras on the Mars rover. Chris, they don't point the cameras at Earth because, for one thing, I don't even know if where they are on Mars at any point has Earth, like, in their sky. You know what I mean? Because they're in different, like, orbits and stuff. So the chances that you're going to have Earth in the night sky, I don't know. But also, they're cameras, not telescopes. They're cameras, not telescopes. So even if Earth as a light in the sky was a thing that was in Mars's sky, in the part of the sky that the rover was on, if they tried to point a camera up and zoom in at it, all you would see is a faint light that would probably be mostly obscured by Mars's atmosphere, much like if you point a camera up at the sky or at stars or at a planet with your camera on Earth, you get really bad images because they weren't built for taking pictures of other planets through the atmosphere. Fuyu Nubiki says, "Hi Hannah, first time catching your stream live in 4 months. Take some late birthday on vacation. Just got paid bits. Nice. My birthday's in 10 days. Mars rover Curiosity sees Earth photos. Oh, they actually have it anyway. Amazing. But yeah, they come up as little lights because that's how the Earth looks from Mars, because they're real far away from each other." Mike Max says, "This is how Arthur ended." Yeah, I saw. DW's a cop, which tracks. Arthur grew up to be a hipster.
From Mars. Why can't they do that? I mean, I have the technology right here. Why don't they do that? Why don't they have a camera on the moon? Why isn't there a fucking rover on the moon?
I think there is. I just think it's not American. Let's see. I could be wrong, but didn't India try and put a rover on the moon a while ago? Oh no, I'm sorry, it was China. Or did India also do one? Or did India's attempt fail? Because I thought India had done one. China has a rover on the moon. Recently, this was actually in the news because they saw something on the horizon that they didn't know what it was. I assume it turned out to be nothing. I don't know. Oh, India's did crash? Okay. So we've had multiple rovers on the moon. They're just not American, the ones that are on there right now. Right now, America's rovers are on Mars because we've already explored the moon. Not only with rovers, but with actual human hands, eyes, several times. I think we should go back to the moon. I like space stuff. I think it's great. I want us to go back to the moon and someday go to Mars once it's reasonably safe, because I don't want people to lose their lives over it. But, Chris, there are rovers on the moon. Congrats.
But yet we have one on Mars. People, wake the fuck up. We've been nowhere. You're not going anywhere. You will never, ever, ever, ever see any landing at all. Ever. Not in your lifetime. Not in your kid's lifetime. Not in his kid's lifetime. Because they can't do it.
I really hope this happens in Chris's lifetime, us going back to the moon, because my god. Those videos are gonna be good. The week after that, like, we go back to the moon, that's gonna be a good tinfoil stream. Spare Keys says, "It'd be funny if that unidentified thing was just another rover." Unlikely. It would be funny, though. Can you call this guy depressed? You could. You don't know him, though, so I don't think that's fair, but he's Guy Come Fallen says, his view of reality is depressing. How does he think it's appealing? I don't know. And it's not even about appealing for me. It's just not based in facts.
Our technology's too much now. They can't play it off. Okay? We tear apart the ISS. We tear apart the so-called satellites that are up there being held by...
The ISS has been up there for decades. They are planning on retiring it soonish, just because it's running towards the end of its lifespan. There are other space stations up there. China has a space station. Russia has a space station. Yeah, I don't know. I hope there's another project like the International Space Station that happens eventually, but yeah, they're gonna deorbit it at some point, and it'll come down and crash in the ocean and be destroyed. It's sad, but, you know, it provided a lot of use for the scientific community. It's a cool thing. Muddy says, CC kind of sounds like he's about to cry in some parts of this, so I made this pain med inspired fan art. Everyone's stupid except me. CC. Oh god, it doesn't show up on camera. Shoot. How do I get this to show up? Is it visible there? It's a little better.
Up by balloons. There's nothing else I can do.
Excellent use of white space, by the way. You can tell he's very isolated.
So what do they have to do to keep you confused? Case in point, our current situation. Okay? That's what they have to do. Gotta keep you confused. I'm gonna post the live cam. Take a look at it, and also take a look at the comments that people are saying, you know, they're typing in there, which is nice. You know, it's good to see that some people have woken up. Do you know anybody in Russia? Or in the Ukraine?
Yes, actually. I actually do. Yep.
I bet if I call one of them up right now.
There's an audience member that I have that has family members in Ukraine. Thanks for asking, asshole.
Yes, don't worry about it, Chris. Come on, we're making some smash burgers.
This guy's an ass.
I was waiting for the major news networks to cover this. Because I don't watch it anymore. I can't. Okay? Because it's such bullshit.
NASA's funding a private space station. Ugh. The privatization of space will never fail to disappoint me.
And the minute it hit the major news network, you know it's all bullshit.
Again, if it's promoted by mainstream news, he automatically assumes it's fake. Now, bear in mind, I'm not saying everything ever covered by the mainstream news or the narratives pushed by mainstream news are automatically correct, but it's also a fallacy to assume that everything said by mainstream news is fake. Not good.
I'm sorry. Go back to sleep. Go back to bed. You're safe there. Don't come over to the other side where we are. Where the awake people are. No need to. Y'all ask too many questions. Too many questions. You know, like mountains, trees, continents, volcanoes. Too many questions y'all ask. Too much information to look up. So go back to bed. Don't worry.
Does he not believe in volcanoes?
We need you to stay asleep. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos and let me be a part of your life.
He has another video that came out recently too. We'll check that one out. He is, of course, at his car, so recording in your car on the bingo card. Devious Chilster says, mainstream news, a man named CC exists. CC. Bet. Thanos is himself. Spare Keys says, those people who are fighting off Russian forces in Ukraine would beat the absolute shit out of this a-hole. Yeah. Rachology says, quick look at something amazing that non-smugly wrong people are doing to explore space. The space we exist in, also along with everything else.
Shortly from the Mission Operations Manager at the Space
This is the James Webb Space Telescope.
Science Institute, Carl Starr, who will be calling out the procedures that will lead to the deployment of Webb's solar array.
This is separation. Was this back in December, or is this one of the more recent things they did? Very cool. Oh, Mr. Whiskers says, volcanoes are too round to be real.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester.
Oh, his wife isn't in the van with him, so he's talking much louder.
County. It's 3/2/22. We're in March, guys. Thank fucking Lord. You know why? Because I hate the month of January. January is like a month of Mondays, okay?
He knows there's a month between January and February, or January and March, right? Hydrate. Lousy Smarch weather.
That's basically what January is, and I'm sorry for the folks that are born in that month, but that's basically what January is here in New York. It's a miserable, cold, snowy, it gets dark at fucking 4:15 in the afternoon. It just sucks. Anyway, that's not the reason why I made this video.
I genuinely thought he was going to go on to say, I was just being a snarky bitch. I genuinely thought he was going to go on and explain why he doesn't like February also. Does he genuinely not remember February exists?
This is what it's all about, guys, okay? Is distraction. All right? And they want to distract you for the last 2 years. Remember what's happened 2 years? Did you forget already? Oh, come on. You didn't.
No, I've had a great last 2 years. I started doing Twitch, started dating Baja, we got engaged, got some beautiful kitties, moved to a much better city. I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
You didn't forget, did you? Let me refresh your memory. 2 years ago, we were in lockdown. Everybody was home. Well, I wasn't, but everybody was. Do you remember sitting at home on your couch watching?
This is why I don't even understand why he's bitching. He never actually did anything. So why does he even care? This guy Comet Fallen says, you hate everything, CC.
Reruns of makeups, anything. I don't know what. Something stupid. Family Feud, whatever. I don't know. Do you remember that? I guess you forgot about it, did you? When you were fist shoving tacos in your mouth and having a party and enjoying yourself. And
he has such a low opinion of everyone. Think about what it takes to hate everyone else this much. And I've joked before on the channel, and it's a general joke that I make, like, I hate everyone. Blah, 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 blah. I don't really, though. I like people for the most part. I don't like awful people. I don't like bigoted people. I don't like hateful people. But, like, I like people on the whole. Like, if I talk to people, I can do small talk. I enjoy knowing people, you know? I enjoy a lot of time to myself because I'm pretty introverted, but if I'm in any situation where I interact with other people, I can do so. I enjoy it. It's fine. Why is Chris so hateful towards everyone? Why does he think everyone is dumber than him? It's so weird and self-centered. Rageology says, that was December. They're halfway through aligning the mirrors. They managed to get a selfie of the James Webb Space Telescope using just starlight, something they weren't sure would be possible. That's awesome. Is this the image? Ooh. I like the array, too. It looks very cool. I've seen some people turn an array like that into wall art. Looks nice.
And worried about some boogeyman. Anyway, so the distractions are out. Here they are. The most powerful country in the world, and we can't put an end to this.
Chris, you understand that there are political reasons for... I assume he's talking about the Ukraine situation. For one thing, we are using soft power on Russia, right? We are putting pressure on them via soft power, which are things like sanctions, seizing assets, making it more difficult for people to do trade with them, all sorts of things like that. But the idea of us actually going in and doing anything is not good because Russia has threatened to use nuclear missiles. Chris, you lived through at least the later part of the original Cold War, right? You remember that? Ended around 89 when the Berlin Wall came down and the Soviet Union collapsed? Yeah, there's a reason we don't want to really start a direct war with Russia. because they're kind of controlled by a crazy dictator who's threatened to nuke us. That's not good. There's this little thing in game theory called mutually assured destruction that's bad for everyone. As you learn from a little-known movie called War Games, the only winning move is not to play. Why are you obsessed with doing this? Bad idea, Chris.
Very simple, guys. What you do is you cut him off. That's right. You stop buying oil from him. Yes.
Literally, countries are doing that and putting sanctions in order to make it more difficult to do so. Yeah.
11% or 12% of oil is coming from him, and we're still paying for it? No. No more oil. We don't want anything else from you.
Chris is the same person who regularly complains about gas prices and blames the president, by the way. Can you imagine how pissed he would be and how he would be mad if we did entirely cut off, which I'm not against cutting off the entirety of Russian oil supply. I don't really care. But also, Chris is the first person to complain about gas prices and inflation, so I guarantee if we do that, he's gonna immediately turn around on his opinion here and say, why did they do that? That's stupid. You can't win.
Cut off the shipping. The cargo ships that are going there, cut them off.
Again, does Chris not understand embargoes and sanctions are going on against Russia right now? This is probably the most concerted global Western effort towards anything in decades. Every country under sort of like, in the NATO, let's call it the NATO sphere, every country in the NATO sphere is taking decisive action against Russia on this. They already are. What are you talking about, Chris? It's like he's trying to talk as an informed person, but he clearly doesn't watch or read the barest amount of news about what's actually being done about the situation, and he just assumes nothing is being done. It's very strange. Sky Comet Fallen says, to be fair, Hannah, what doesn't Chris complain about? True?
All plastic cut.
Yeah, and in the last video he said it wasn't real anyway. He can't even decide which conspiracy theory he wants to stick with. Chris, is it not happening? Or do you want stricter embargoes? Which is it? Logarth says, the expanded NATO universe. I thought of it. Now you have to as well.
Off. Everything cut off. I mean, it's a no-brainer, guys. And that'll put an end to this. But since we have this idiot in the White House, he doesn't even know what the hell's going on. Is he still on vacation or is he back yet? I hope he's...
He literally did the State of the Union last night, Chris.
Good.
Does he not even know the State of the Union happened? Because this video came out today. He just filmed it.
He really has done such a fine job so far. He's proven to be the worst president, I think, in all of the history of this country.
Chris, name 10 presidents that didn't happen during your lifetime. Go.
Congratulations. Well done.
I'll even get, he can do Washington and Lincoln. He can have those ones. He can have FDR. He was probably alive for JFK. I don't know though. Name them. Go, Chris, go.
You know what really bothers me is now they're going to start blaming the gasoline on this bullshit. You know,
it didn't even take a whole other video for him to complain. Spare Keys says, by the way, something else happening. Finland is considering dropping neutrality and joining NATO for good reason. Yeah.
that's what they're going to start doing. You know, but little do they know. Do you remember it's been going up ever since he's walked through that door? Gradually going up.
Chris, gas has been going up for a multitude of reasons, some of which involving inflation, which is the result of pandemic stuff, and the other is that gas prices were incredibly low during the pandemic because there was much less travel going on, and now that travel is starting to increase yet again, the demand is up, so the price goes up. That's like basic economics.
Day by day, going up, week by week, month by month, whatever it may be, okay? So that's how you finish this. That's how you end this, okay? Escalating into a third world war. It's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. Unfortunately, people will die, okay? For no reason at all, and that's what these sickos do, okay? That's what they do. And that's what pisses me off.
that we know this is all there for show. We know it's all there for bullshit. But people do lose their lives. And unfortunately, we had it here in 9/11.
Uh-oh!
We've had it here many other times.
Oh, God. Chris is a 9/11 denier. That tracks.
Fires that break out. All this nonsense. All of the distractions. Okay, so now distraction 1 is gone. Distraction 2 is now here. Distraction 3, what do you think it's going to be? I'm not quite sure. I mean, because they pretty much pulled everything out of the hat that I could think of that really people care about. But let's see. I don't know how to explain this one, but when I know something's done and it never can be done again, then I know in the back of my head that this is bullshit. You understand that? Think about all the things that have happened. They never happen twice. Because they can't. They can't do it twice. All right? And I want you to go all the way back to 2001. They can't play it off again. They can't do it again. So they come up with new things. And more...
Chris, after 9/11, scrutiny for airline travel went through the roof. Scrutiny for airline passengers went crazy. And I get it. A lot of it's security theater. I'm not disagreeing with that. But at the end of the day, it's deterred, at least in some sense, that style of terrorism. People can't bring box cutters and stuff onto planes anymore. Even if you did try and hijack a plane with something, the passengers aren't going to have it. Because they know... Let me explain this. I assume most of my audience are older than me, or at least my age, but if you're younger... Prior to 9/11, planes being hijacked was a thing, right? 9/11 wasn't the first time planes had ever been hijacked, you know? But usually if a plane was hijacked throughout history, it would be someone like D.B. Cooper, who'd be like, I'm holding the plane hostage, give me a bunch of money, or it would be someone like, I need this plane to take me to Cuba, or some crazy other shit. Before 9/11, it was not assumed that if someone hijacked a plane, everyone on board was going to die. The entire culture of, like, what it meant to have a plane hijacked is completely different post 9/11. If someone tries to hijack a plane, today, people aren't just going to comply and hope that this is over soon. They're going to go, oh my god, they're going to kill all of us. We need to do anything in our power to stop them. Complete difference, Chris. This is why even after 9/11, a lot of the attempts at terrorism weren't hijacking a plane. They were things like bringing bombs onto planes. Because they knew at that point people aren't going to stand for someone standing up with a box cutter or even a gun and being like, I'm taking over the plane. You're just not going to win. So then they resorted to things like trying to bring on shoe bombs and other things like that, which didn't end up working, luckily. But the style of terrorism is just entirely different, Chris. This takes 5 seconds to think through. Sky Comet Fallen says, Yoink becomes the stream boss. I assume Rageology did? Yep. Nice.
More things. The only thing is now that they're just pumping them out so quickly now. All right? That's what they're doing. They have to do that now. Flat Earth, when I first got into it, was getting such a leeway on everything. And it was just, so many people were waking up all over the place, but they had to lock them down. They had to stop us for doing conferences. They had to stop us for doing commercials. They had to stop.
Chris, Flat Earth peaked in 2017, and it was going down ever since. 2020 didn't happen until 3 years later. Flat Earth was already on a downturn.
Us from getting on.
LJism, thanks for 18 months, says, happy hump day, everyone. 18 months, that's another sub baby. This sub baby's name is going to be Bahama Grandma.
On planes. Yeah. But they never shut down the air flights. National emergency? No, worldwide emergency? Never shut down the air flight.
Wait, on 9/11? They absolutely did. Chris, what? Chris, what? Did you just say they didn't shut down Oh no, he's talking about during COVID. Chris, they severely limited. Yes, they did. What are you talking about? They, like, halved things at minimum. I don't know specifically, but the entire air industry did have to change, but they didn't shut down all flights because it would basically destroy the economy. But they absolutely did change the way things were done in airports and airlines. They basically halved capacity, required masks, etc., etc. Dan Rossi Jaws, thanks for 21 months, says Bahama Blast. Halloween Town says we need to name our second sub-baby. Alright, this sub-baby's name is going to be Antonio Banderas.
I could have gone to Florida at any point for $10. Oh man, people, you have to understand. You've got to wake up, and you have to understand this is all because of Flat Earth.
Flat Earth on the bingo card. Chris believes that the entire everything from 2020 until now is all to cover up Flat Earth. A conspiracy theory so stupid, the only people who believe it are people like Chris. That's the best insult I can come up with, because I think what I'm saying is self-evident.
People were making money, quite a bit of money. They were doing commercials. Popular Science did a story on us on Flat Earth. Kids were starting to wake up in class.
Hydrate.
They had to shut it down. So they did. They kind of did, but it doesn't make a difference. It's all ramping up again anyway. It'll all be back very shortly. Right
yeah,
back
even
to where
Peter's
we were
not a flat earther.
2 years ago. You know, it's just amazing that nobody sees the obvious that's in front of them. You know, the pyramids, the palaces, you know, mud flood. I can't believe nobody sees, you know, buildings that are being built on top of buildings, you know.
He's a mud flood believer, too.
My whole thing was...
Mud flood, if you haven't seen my previous segments on mud flood conspiracy believers, they basically believe that the buildings we live in today were actually not really built by people recently. And when I say the buildings we live in today, I more mean like buildings in New York City, brownstone buildings, you know, the United States Capitol. They believe that, like, old stone buildings, not old, like, ancient, but things that were, you know, built in the last century or so, weren't actually built in the last century ago. They're actually ancient Babylonian buildings that were hidden due to a mud flood, which is basically things getting covered by mud and then solidifying, and then were unearthed, and then people just started living in them, and somehow everyone forgot about this and never wrote it down. Yeah, it's a weird conspiracy. Mr. Whiskers says, mud flood. H-Baird says, we need to find these flat earth commercials, right? And you might be talking about the Google one, because there was a Google commercial that I think played at the Super Bowl one year, and it scrolled a bunch of weird searches really quickly on screen, and one of them happened to be flat earth, because this was when, like, people believing in flat earth was a big, like, interest story, human interest story on news networks, like, oh, did you hear this weird thing? So I think it came up in their commercial briefly. Fraggled Rock, thanks for 14 months.
To go down to the Iron Flat District, down to the city, because I want to investigate that area. But there's no way I'm bringing my camera down there. You can kiss that goodbye, because the city is still a disaster area. I will make it down there at some point when I feel it's safe, but right now, the city is not a safe place to be. I mean, I don't want to drive down there in my own car and drive around in circles looking for a fucking parking spot. Well, now that the weather's getting better, I can go out and I can actually use my camera that I saved up for it and start showing you that there is no curvature at all whatsoever. None. And if there is no curvature, then where does a ball come from?
Anti-Pretzel says, it's always flat earth where there's hollow. It's always flat earth. Where's the hollow earth? You know, that conspiracy that the earth is hollow, where all the cryptids hide? You're looking for Stephen Christ. He has a YouTube channel. He cursed me once. Chris, how do I explain this? When ball big, big ball make many small curve that's not visible to eye. Many small curve make big curve. Nick says, doesn't know how geometry works on the bingo card. That's not on the bingo card, but if it was, yes.
How does that happen if there's no curvature at all whatsoever? We can see too
There is curvature. There is.
far. Do we live on Saturn or Jupiter? Foolish people, foolish in space. You can see a star that's billions and billions of light years away. I loved it. I was there. I knew.
Stars light years away, very big, very bright, can see from a long way.
I remember the last thing that I actually heard before I really started researching Flat Earth was we are, I think it was 99% of the way of seeing the Big Bang on our telescope. I think that's where I started looking at Flat Earth, somewhere around there when I found that out. Anyway, so
Maps and Mimic says, the irony of him calling other people foolish. I know. Devious Chilster says, it'll always be unceasingly amusing to me how confident these people are in their stupidity. Like, ha, stupid people, of course you can eat the silica packets. It's seasoning, sheeple, wake up. And Pseudosapien, thanks for 20 months, says, my sub didn't tell me it needed renewing, and for that it shall be punished. Ooh, kinky.
As you know what my feelings are about all of this, okay? And I want to just, that's why I wanted to kind of just break it down for you, that nothing could ever be done twice. And when I see that, I know it's bullshit.
9/11 literally involved multiple planes. It involved 4 different planes being hijacked. Only 3 of them reached their destination. The 4th was brought down by the passengers. What are you talking about, Chris? Other terrorist attacks, bombings have happened regularly. People hitting people with vehicles happen regularly. Mass shootings happen regularly. What are you talking about, Chris? Sky Comet Fallen says, oh, there's curvature, CC. Oh, there's curvature. Wiggles eyebrows. Ooh, woo. Alright.
Don't worry about anything. The only thing this is going to hurt is your pocketbooks. That's it. And our wallets. You know, that's where it's going to hurt all of us. And it already has. You know, you realize those prices that you have at the supermarket are based on 55 gallons. I mean, 55 dollar per barrel for gasoline. When that gets up to $110 or $100
for crude oil, not gasoline.
120
Crude oil then needs to be taken and refined into gasoline.
$, do you realize everything skyrockets because we're so dependent on fuel? And
Chris, you literally said at the beginning of this video you wanted them to cut off all Russian oil, which I didn't even disagree with, but it's going to come with consequences, those consequences being an increased price in crude oil, which will increase every derivative product down the line, and all industries that subsist upon that, which is basically all industries because they need to be transported somewhere, and in the United States, the vast majority of transportation of goods are done via trucking, long-haul trucking, which requires gasoline. Hydrate. Or diesel.
we weren't before this bumbling idiot got into office. Okay? See, case in point, another thing for distractions. Actually, I look at this more as amusement rather than a distraction, but a scary amusement and a frightening amusement. Okay? That it could get this bad. Where a country has to be destroyed. Cities have to be destroyed. You know? Children have to be destroyed. Some of these kids that are now going into second grade, third grade, they don't even know what their classmates look like.
You know, you can see people on Zoom calls, right? Again, I get it. I feel for kids who've had to live through all this, and especially younger kids who've had to go through school mostly through Zoom and stuff, though at this point, honestly, I think the vast majority of schools are back open. I'm not familiar with schools that are still only doing Zoom, but I could be wrong. I'm sure they exist somewhere. But yeah, that sucked, I'm sure, for a lot of kids having to go into school on Zoom when they were really new at school. That's tough, because a lot of early years in school are just learning how to do school, like kindergarten, first grade. A lot of that is just learning scheduling, how to make sure that you know how to work in a group, how you can like sit at a desk and learn and all that stuff. And a lot of that's lost on some of those kids probably, and it's going to be something that has to be, you know, taught to them a little later than normally they would be, and that sucks. But at the end of the day, it was necessary to protect children and their families. 96% in person. Cool.
You realize that? That's sad, guys. Really sad. You know how important it is for a child to be able to see you speak, to see expressions in your face?
Again, Zoom School has cameras, Chris. Mr. Whiskers with 50 bits says, my 14-year-old son is hanging with his friends virtually as we speak. It sucks, but they're getting by. Yeah. And yeah, I'd count this as PSYOP. He thinks it's all fake, so.
If you're a parent and you're happy with that, then you're fucking insane. It's stunting the growth of these children, you know. Well, now that the door is revolving and the other thing will come in, that'll go away, and this will now be the big thing that's going on. Okay, so anyway, look, I just wanted to say hi with everybody and that.
Yeah, mask mandates are going away in schools.
Touch base. Be getting back into Think About It Friday because I have some research to do, like we all do as flat.
My research said not by a researcher on the bingo card.
Earthers. We don't have time to sit in front of TVs and fuck around with video games. We've got to research all this. Once again, we've got to relearn everything that we've learned in the past because it's all bullshit. And that's what flat earthers have to do. So that's why I am so busy all the time with a full-time job, with looking up all this other stuff. I don't have time for nonsense anymore. I don't have time to sit there and have a pissing game with somebody who doesn't want to believe what's truly around them. Good, fine. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Okay? I mean, I have friends that come up to me. It's like, Chris, I heard you got into Flat Earth. I was like, yeah, I've been doing it for quite some time now. Where have you been? And you know, and they'll try to talk me out of it. And I'm like, guys, look, whatever you want, that's fine. I don't give a shit. You want to believe you're living on a spinning wet ball, traveling in space at this enormous amount of speed, and that's fine. That's good. But it's preposterous. It's
Chris must be fun at parties.
absolutely ridiculous. It's all bullshit. They'll see at some point, though. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Chris is depressing to watch. He's isolating himself in just the worst way. It's a shame. All right. Let's move on.